Hey, how's it going there, everybody? So, as you probably noticed, the look of the channel changed a little bit. I thought, blue is cool. Actually, blue is very cool. We all know that. But it didn't really, the name of the channel, Blue, really didn't say anything about me. Didn't really say what, the channel is all about. Where living with throat cancer, you can't mistake that. That's exactly what it's all about, right? So, apologize if I threw anybody for a loop there. But it is what it is. I had to change things up. Hopefully you like the new look. And yeah, so this is SITREP 71, and this is Thursday, the 20th of May. Enjoy the sunrise. So that sunrise reminds me of a very cool fall morning. I was at basic training, and we were conducting a force march. We have to, you get in a certain side by side, one guy behind the other guy. You walk with your weapon like this at chest height through the woods, drill sergeants all around you, pushing and pushing and pushing. And this morning we were walking probably, 4, 6, 8 miles to the range, and a full gear, helmet and all that. And I was super hot. It was freezing cold out at the time, right? So I was so hot. I remember coming over this little ridge, coming up on this dirt ridge. We're on a dirt road. I couldn't take it anymore. I took out my canteen and I poured it all around my head and my neck. Like, oh man. I put my canteen away. We came over the hill, and right there on the left was the range and the bleachers. So I didn't realize at the time, but I was about to have a bad morning. So they put us all in the bleachers. I was about midway up. And before too long, my body started cooling off. Then I started freezing. And I got really cold. I mean, really cold. And I started noticing up on the top of the bleachers, the sun was starting to crest over the trees just like it did in that video. I was looking up there. The drill sergeants kind of turned their back, and I scooched my way up there. And I sat there and I prayed to God for that sun to hit me. I prayed to God. It was one of those times you just remember praying. And finally, that sun hit me. And I can feel it. It feels just like the way I wake up every morning. I wake up every morning and I realize the good Lord gave me another day. And it just makes me smile inside. And it makes me feel warm just like it did on the range that day. So I thought I'd share that with you. Sunrise is a good thing. So here's something a little surprising. I talked to Dr. G about possibly getting a COVID vaccine. And she said that I am eligible, but I need to make sure I do it at the right timing because my white blood cell count fluctuates based on when I get the Gruesome Threesome. So the best time for me to get it is about 4 or 5 days before the next time that I get the Gruesome Threesome. So I gotta tell you, I was really surprised at that. I didn't think I'd be eligible at all, but I'm thinking about doing it. And if I get it, it'll get the Johnson & Johnson, the one-time shot, because that does not mess with your, if I remember correctly, your RNA. And that's the one my wife was concerned about too. So, but yeah, I'm eligible. Who knew? I might just go for it. So as I talked about in the last SITREP, I was kind of worried about this thing that's going on in my throat right now because I was getting the impression that maybe this chemo regimen wasn't working. And that's worst case because then I'm dropping down. I would have been dropping down to the next best chemo regimen. And if that keeps going on, what do you get to, the 5th best? I mean, how good is that? And what's the quality of life going to be, But Dr. G said that she thinks that I was having the most pain because I was getting ready to do my next Gruesome Threesome, which is the most effective portion of all the 3 weeks of per iteration. That's obviously the strongest one because it has the 5FU and all that in it, right? So there is still hope for this chemo regimen. I hold out hope, and I am praying that you know, she's right, and that you know, hopefully the Gruesome Threesome is the key. We shall see. So there's one other possibility here, and I don't want to, you know, throw up the star clusters, the red flag or anything, but so, you know, Dr. G, you know, I understand her point that maybe, you know, we were the farthest away from, you know, taking the triple threat, Gruesome Threesome, and that's why my pain was increased. But what happens if it's not that? Now I have this pain in my mouth that is not the original throat thing, right? Remember, this thing started above it, up on my soft palate. It's not the thing that was down here. So did my cancer just jump from my tonsil up here to my nasal and oral pharynx? I mean, seems to me it can be two different issues, no? And we never got a biopsy on this. We got a biopsy on this and my lung, and they were the same cancer. But we never got one on this. And one thing about Mark Carricker, Mark had a tumor in his face, spread to his lungs, chest, just like me. And then he got this abscess on his jaw. They thought it was an abscess. 6 months later, it grew right through his jawbone and was sticking out of the side of his face about this big. Literally. It ate right through the side of his face. It was a big tumor hanging out of the side of his neck, off his jaw. So I'm going to wait and see. I hold out concern. But at some point, I might request a biopsy on my mouth just to make sure, because everybody assumed that Mark's was the same as his other cancers, and that ended up being the problem. He went in for the tumor on his face and his head. It was actually eating in toward his brain, and this, I think, ultimately was the one that took him. So I hold out concern, but I'm stating it right now. I have concern about that. So this is kind of a weird thing. One of the things they told me was one of the side effects of the cetuximab and the drugs that I'm on was fingernails. Apparently, you start having issues with fingernails. And when they first said it to me, I kind of like, huh? Like, okay, whatever. But then this happened. I started getting these little, like, I don't know, things in the corner of my nails started hurting. And then one day, this happened. I was just screwing a hose thing together. It was like a quick adapter. Brand new. I'd never had one before, never used one before. And this little rubber ring like popped off. And I didn't realize, but there was little bits of metal sticking up. Those little bits of metal cut into my fingers. So it turned into this thing. Here's a better picture of it. So I don't know if that's part of the nail thing, or maybe this affects like the blood flow to your fingertips or something. Something weird. I don't know. Anyway, I thought I'd share that with you. So about 5 months ago, the whole paint deck got painted with this Bare Premium Concrete and Garage 1 part epoxy coating. This beautiful, what is it? Spanish sand. So, bottom of my chair legs are metal, and they were rusting out. So I got the bright idea to put these caps under there, and I filled up the cap with silicone caulking, and then stuck it to the bottom of the leg. But then water filled up in there, and I went to move the chairs one day after we painted, and this, I don't know if you can see it, this rusty looking stuff splashed out. It's like this purplish color, and I was like, no big deal, you know. Well, it was a big deal. Once it dried, it actually like etched right into the surface, so now I have to paint it. So that's why I'm out here. Here we go. So then we just picked up this little guy right here. Little tabletop grill. Looking pretty sweet. But didn't realize it comes with these dedicated 1-gallon propane tanks. It's about an adapter hose to that for about 16 bucks from Amazon. Let me hook up to that. But other than that, pretty cool. It's got a little igniter on the side. You also have the ability to lock the top down. I guess maybe for transport or whatever. But temperature goes up to 650 degrees. I bet I'll bury that too. And I'll pull it out right now. But yeah, the burner's really close to the grill top, so I can see how it'd be really efficient and heating up, real quick. So I'm liking it a lot. Liking it a lot here. So I got an update to the video here. I went ahead and ordered the adapter hose that goes from the tank up to the grill, because if you recall, it has this 1-gallon dedicated tank that goes to it like that. The 1-gallon tank screws into there, but to make an adapter, it screws in. Look at this hose here. Screws into that. Like this is not going to that. So they're totally different. Now I'm going to figure out how I turn this into this. Never a dull moment. So I had a little bit of a scare with my my pain meds. When I went in on Friday the 14th to get the Gruesome Threesome hooked up to get injected and all that, I met Dr. True, my palliative care doctor. And at the time I was on 137.5 micrograms of fentanyl. Well, I had increased pain, and she decided to up my dosage, but she went up to 200 micrograms. So she jumped me from 137.5 up to 200. And I thought that was kind of high. I said, gee, doc, usually we'll go up maybe 12 and a half, or maybe like 25. But we never jumped like 75 like that. Like that's a 60, whatever it is. It's a big jump. But I'm like, okay, whatever, we did it. Well, for the next 5 days, I was in misery. I mean, I couldn't sleep right. I was jittery. I'd be sitting there and I just like nod off. I kept on doing that. I was confused, kind of, sometimes. I just didn't feel right. When I stand up, I was kind of unstable a little bit. Felt like things were shifting on me. It was really weird. Anyway, when I went in Tuesday to get the grenade disconnected, nobody was there. Dr. G, actually I ran into Dr. G. I didn't mention to her. Dr. True wasn't around. I didn't mention to her, obviously. But Tuesday morning I had enough. I mean, I'm sorry, that night, Tuesday night, I was just feeling bad. And I was like, it was getting kind of scary. It was getting scary. I decided I was going to down the dose. So I called Dr. True yesterday morning and I said, look, this 200 is too much for me. And we decided to go down to 175. If I had it my way, technically, I would have brought it down to 150. But I seem to be doing okay on 175. I still have a little bit of the jitters. I'm still not sleeping right. And I am still nodding off a little bit, but kind of confusion's gone away, which is good. I have pain. I have some pain, but I can deal with that with my breakout morphine doses, So I don't know why she decided to jump me up so high, but it's kind of scary. I mean, now that I look back on it, and I think about it, it was kind of unsafe. I mean, in my opinion. Now my wife is kind of like, well, you know, everybody reacts differently. It might have been something from the chemo. We don't know. It just seems kind of weird that it continued on after the chemo a little bit. Um, and now, you know, my pain is manageable. I don't know. It just, the whole thing is screwy. I don't get it, but I'm glad I dropped the dose down because that was getting scary, straight up. And my morphine has stayed the same. I'm still doing 45 milligrams of that for breakup pain. And that's up to 6 times a day, depending on when I get up, right? If I get up early in the morning, then at 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, noon, 3, then I do 90 to 120 milligrams for stretches around dinner time, 6. And then I do one at 9 and then one at midnight if I stay up that late. So I can do up to 6 breakouts a day sometimes. I try not to do that much, but I can. I've probably, on a regular basis, consistently, I've probably gone 3 or 4 days using 4, maybe 5. That's been about my height, I think. I try not to use it, guys. I mean, I'm authorized more pain medicine than I want to take. So I just, you know, I tend to suck up some pain just so I don't take as many medicines. Keep in mind, stuff binds you up a lot too. So, you know, I'm constantly on laxatives. It's just not fun. So I try to watch that stuff. Anyway, that's where we're at for drugs. So I just realized we went all the way through this video, all the grill and the painting and all that stuff. And I didn't even really talk about the Gruesome Threesome. So I'll give you a quick update on how that went in this iteration. So if you recall from the first iteration, it went horribly. I mean, I was nauseous, I was sick and tired all the time. This time was the exact opposite, but it's kind of difficult to separate the issues I was having because of the medicine and, you know, the fentanyl, I'm going to call it increase in dose, and the symptoms from the Gruesome Threesome. But I can tell you this, the first time that I did the Gruesome Threesome, I screwed this up. I am very susceptible to nausea, and although I rarely ever throw up in my life, but when I'm taking medicines like chemotherapy, I am very, very susceptible to nausea. And the first time we did the Gruesome Threesome, I was not on my game. I was not on my medicine game, to say the least. So probably the most important thing that I had to do was pay attention to my nausea meds, and I didn't do it, and I paid for it. So, but in my defense, one of them was kind of weird. Like one of them was like only take on days 2 and 3, and the other one was take 6 hours, every 6 hours. That seems pretty simple to keep track of. And technically it should have been, but in my case it wasn't. So I totally screwed that up the last time. And then I was like, am I on day 2? Am I on day 3? I'm not sure. Do you count the first day? Because technically it's the afternoon. And so anyway, this time, apparently I got it right because my nausea was kept at bay. Now, again, I did have all these other issues with sleeplessness and, you know, disorientation, if you will, kind of confusion. But again, I think that was more medically induced, medicine induced, than it was due to the Gruesome Threesome. So this time, my energy was actually up pretty good. The first 3 days, I didn't feel anything. I felt actually pretty daggone good. My appetite was up. My appetite was up through the whole thing, actually. Pretty decent. I did get bound up. Excuse me. I did get bound up. I think that was because of the increased meds from fentanyl. Fentanyl and pain medicine will bind you up big time. I take laxatives all the time because of that. So, but yeah, I gotta say the difference between this time and last time is night and day. This time was so much better. I can't even begin to explain to you how much different it was. So thank God for that. Yeah. So that's where we're gonna end this one, guys. Yeah, give me some feedback on the new look. Tell me if that messed you up, or tell me what you think about it. Do you like the new logo or not? Do you like the direction that I'm going in? Give me some feedback on that. And as always, guys, thank you so much for supporting me. Appreciate the subscriptions. And I can't tell if you guys are sharing. I hope to God that you are. I know there's a bunch of people out there that this disease is messing with. It's affecting their lives. And hopefully, if you know somebody like that, you're passing this information on to them, okay? So, until we talk next time, God bless. Take care of yourselves. Love those around you as always. Take care, guys. Bye.